Still in line on Democracy Day and all the conversations and celebrations around it, we know that the governors scattered across 36 states have also called for unity and also called that Nigerians consolidate on the 25 years of unbroken democracy. And now to discuss this further, I'm joined by Executive Director, Not Too Young to Lead Initiative, Elvis Akpobi. Elvis, thank you so much for coming on. Let's get started. What are the key principles of separation of powers in a democratic system, right? Let's start there, and then let's talk about how do they prevent the concentration of power at the very center, which is the executive.
The executive, for me, from what I know we have the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. Executive mostly is to execute most projects, bring infrastructures, protect the lives and properties of people. Why I know the judiciary is to, the hope of the common man, where people take their cases to and they get fair judgment. Despite we don't get have that lately, and that's of the legislature, which is meant to make policies, make bill that that becomes law, which should be enacted, but lately you just hear people, a legislative house made so be it was passed into law, but not really implemented.
Right. And how does the system of checks and balances operate, to ensure accountability among these arms of government?
Ordinarily, the legislator for me is meant to, check, not be a watchdog to the executive. But lately, you see the legislative arm of government is seems to be an appendage. The romance sometimes the executive controls the legislature, and to me, our democratic process today is not working because of all these loopholes, so many interests, political interests, selfish interests, interests along ethnicity, interests along religion. And for a country like Nigeria, I would say we are a sleeping giant at the moment.
So how then can we, hold elected officials and even public servants, accountable to their actions, including situations like, when impeachment or investigations or even oversight? How can the legislative then now, hold checks and balances?
Let's start with the Constitution. For me, the Constitution is the DNA of our country today. But any country that it takes more than just praying for Nigeria. Any countries that follows the DNA will do well. Do we really go? Is the Constitution really working? For me, it's not working. We don't go follow what's written in the books. Holding our leaders accountable and all that. Like I've said in many forums, I find myself is if citizens have become leaders, and we've not really used those leaders who fall short of leadership as scapegoats. People do things and they get away with it. The judiciary on the other side have not really helped us. They interpret the constitution in different ways. So for me, both almost yeah, I was categorically say the three arms of government really need overhauling. We need to sit down, we need to domesticate the constitution. In some countries, people know their rights. As a 10 years old, you see a 10 years old child, they will be quoting the constitution and he or she knows it's all right. But in Nigeria today, it's not like that. It's I would say we are operating a democratic process. I would say we are operating an hegemony process where a particular set of people decide what happens. If it favors them, it goes well. If it does not favor them, they adjust it, and that's where we are. That's where we are at the moment.
And then how do then democratic systems, balance representative democracy as well as, direct democracy mechanisms, such as, referendums and even initiatives then?
Let me use an example to your question, like the amended electoral law. The last election, there were cases, there were agitation from a particular quarter that says, and it's written in the books, the amended electoral act talked about uh, electronic display of voters accreditation and votes. But they were like, what happens on the ballot reflect in the site and all that. But the chairman, the INEC chairman came and read a different meaning that was not what was written in the amended act, and Nigerians kept mum about it. So I think because of only a privileged few knows how to interpret the constitution, that and it favors them. A lot of Nigerians have given up on Nigeria, but still, if you listen to the president's speech today, he acknowledged a lot of activists who died for the struggle of democracy and all that. Can we see? Do we see have such activists today? Can the president categorically say that he allows democratic processes to go through? Like if an activist comes out to because today a one of those one of the reporters complained about the journalist was complaining about the fact that we have investigative journalism where people were free to air their views or call out the presidency, call out any government and be safe. We don't have that, and that alone does not show that we're operating a very strong democratic process.
Elvis, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you for doing this with us.
Thank you for having me.